What's up, my friends? It is Danny Gallows, of course, and I'm joining you guys early morning this morning, actually, before I even go into work. Yeah, it's about, like 7:30 in the morning or something right now. Literally just woke up, just got out of the shower a little while ago. And I figured I'd come in here and kind of like record my vlog for the day before I even get out for work because sometimes in the morning, and I've explained this to you guys a couple times before, sometimes in the morning I'll wake up and I'll see something on social media or I'll see something on the news or the internet or something like that that will just, I guess you could say, triggered me. I don't use that terminology ever, but that's what it did. It triggered me to come in here and put on a video because sometimes I just gotta talk about stuff right away. Right after I see it, while it's fresh on my mind, I gotta talk about it. This morning, I guess I'm just a little bit more irritated than usual because it's just, like I said, it's 7:30 out in the morning right now, right? It's cloudy out, it's rainy, it's drizzly again, it's dark outside, but it's muggy. It's I just shut this window and already I'm starting to, the sweat's starting to bead on my forehead, I'm starting to get sticky and everything. Man, I hate the summertime. I hate the summertime so much. Move me to a planet where it's like spring and fall all the time, that's my perfect weather. But anyway, what really did this morning was I woke up and I turned on the TV just to have something on in the background, while I'm doing my whole breakfast routine and whole waking up routine and all that. And there's a news story on this morning about how Colorado, there's some legislation that's about to be passed in Colorado right now that is going to, or I should say that is attempting to be passed. He's still trying to collect signatures for it. But what it is he's trying to ban cell phones for kids that are under the age of 13. Smartphones, that is, for kids that are under the age of 13. Now, a majority of people aren't behind this guy. A majority of people are pretty up in arms about this. They're like, no way. I think there's a lot of parents out there who think it's totally appropriate for their kids who are under 13 to have a smartphone. There's a lot of parents out there that buy their smartphones specifically for their kids, almost as like a babysitter. And that's where I take issue. I don't care. Parents can do whatever they want. I'm not here to dictate somebody's life. If you want to ruin your child's entire life, basically, by putting them in front of technology at a very early age and telling them that's the answer to everything, then that's what you're going to do. Nobody can stop you from doing that. Nobody can stop you from having your own opinion. People can do whatever they want. The issue, I'm not taking issue with people. I'm taking issue with their thought process and going into this because, most of the time you have parents who, just as I said, they buy their phones specifically for their kids so that it's kind of like a babysitter. They buy it with the intention of saying, well, now I don't have to listen to my child complain and cry and all this stuff. I'll just give them this little mini computer. Well, that's not how things used to be. And it's why the youth of today is so estranged from normal life. It's why everybody has anxiety and depression and sociophobia. Nobody wants to go outside. Nobody wants to meet friends. Nobody wants to actually interact with people. Go outside and look in your park, on your streets on a summer day. You don't see too many kids out in the park these days. You don't see too many kids riding bikes these days anymore. They're all inside playing video games and on smartphones. Why? Because their parents have introduced this to them at an age that was way too early for them to understand what was going on. You gotta understand, guys, smartphones, and this is something that was mentioned by a representative from Google in this news story. He was saying that, you guys have to understand that these phones, they're updated every single day and revamped every single day to make them more addictive to you, to make them more personally addictive to you, so that you keep downloading apps and you keep yourself on the phone all day, right? That's fine for an adult that can make clear decisions, right? Even someone like a 16-year-old, a 17-year-old, it's fine for someone who can make clear decisions for themselves. It is not okay to put your 12 or 11-year-old child in front of a smartphone and ask them to just absorb everything that's coming from it. That's where I take the issue from. And, this guy who's trying to push this legislation, look, because, there's a lot of different things to discuss here. First of all, we're also talking about government's overreach into our life, which is something that I am very outspoken against. I don't like government outreach into our life. And that is definitely an issue to take into consideration, because the government is especially these days, the government is just way too involved in every single aspects of our lives. But my counter to that argument would be that the government was also kind of responsible for creating smartphones. They're responsible for allowing these companies to create these devices that are getting into the hands of children and are now warping their minds. Like, look, is this up to the parents? Is this the parents' decision? Should the parents be taking care of this? Yes, they should. But do they? No. And this is where it becomes a problem, is that if you are not going to be responsible for your child, if you're not going to take care of them responsibly, then we have to implement laws to be able to take your phone away from your children. Your children are the future. That's not just some corny catchphrase that's around the planet. This is a very, very scary situation that we're in right now. Okay, it's not just events like world events that are happening right now, but have you guys taken, like, I'm 30 years old, right? If you guys are younger than me, if you guys out there are like 15, 14 years old or something like that, have you guys actually taken a look at your generation? I am not too secure when thinking about the future when looking at the next generation down from me. Because the next generation down from me doesn't care about anything. They care about movies and video games and what on social media and what they're going to be doing with their friends and where they're going to be shopping next. Now, does my generation suffer from that? Yes. Does the generation after me suffer from that? Yes. Everybody on the planet suffers from consumerism and social media at ties and being addicted to our electronics and entertainment and stuff like that. I have 2 YouTube channels that are based solely on entertainment, right? So entertainment is very much a part of our lives. But I'm also 30 years old. I'm not 12. At this age in my life, I can understand how to live a regular life while balancing 2 YouTube channels that are solely about entertainment. A 12-year-old, a 10-year-old doesn't understand these things. They can't comprehend this. Growing up with so much technology, all they think about is technology. All they become dependent on is technology. The natural world fades away. Real friendships fade away, right? Real connections fade away. And all they're left with are these devices in their hands that they think they're building real friendships on, they think they're building real connections on, but it's really just addicting them more to technology so that their minds are that much more mush and that much more warped when they're finally ready to take over these positions. And God help us when these kids are ready to take over these future positions, because I don't really see a bright future for the United States with as warped as these kids are. And the reason that these kids are becoming so warped is because their parents are putting computers in front of them at the age of 10 years old and telling them that it's okay to just sit there on the couch all day and play apps and just warp their mind, right? Why don't you... I mean, there was a mother on the show too, actually. It's really, really strange, how people think about this kind of issue. There's a mother on the show today who they were featuring who actually restricts her children. She took it upon herself to restrict her own child's smartphone use. She takes, after a certain amount of time is up, she takes them away. Good on you, Mom. Good on you, right? I want to see more of that in the United States. But where the government side of the issue comes in is... it comes into parents not being responsible with their children. All right, you have a lot of parents out there who have children just to have children, and knowing that, oh, I can just stick a smartphone in front of them, and now I have my babysitter. That can't happen. Like, that can't go on. You can't. That is a sophisticated form of child abuse. I'm sorry. Like, I'm just gonna say it. Like, that's a sophisticated form of child abuse. Having a child and then immediately throwing a smartphone in front of them. Like, what are you doing to your child's mind? How are they ever going to learn? How are they ever going to progress? How are they ever going to grow? How are they ever going to know anything else except technology and friendships and communities that are built online and not in real life? Go outside. Go to school. Go ride a bike. Go do something else than sitting inside in front of your smartphone and on video games all day. You know what I'm saying? It's like, your kids are the future. They are about to be taking over our future positions. They can't do that with smartphones in their hand 2 inches from their face all day. This is the issue. And this is what I'm saying, is that sometimes government does need to step in and take control over the situation and say, look, you cannot, if you're going to be irresponsible, I am going to make sure that you cannot be irresponsible about something that is so detrimental to society. And again, I find myself contradicting myself, because it's like, how much prohibition can the United States do? You can't keep, the government can't keep reaching out and just keep putting restrictions on things. People have to be able to govern themselves. But at what point does it become the wrong decision? At what point does government need to step in and say, okay, this is not okay. Like we need to do something about this. This is becoming an epidemic. There is evidence that technology and smartphones is making kids' brains mush. We need to stop. We need to get off of this. We need to put some kind of restrictions in somewhere that limits kids' use on smartphones. I mean, look at me, again, as another example, right? Up until about, I don't know, 2 years ago, I think it was just 2 years ago, I had a flip phone. I only used it for texting. It's an old school flip phone. Just texted people. Because that's all I needed. I wasn't interested in apps. I have a smartphone nowadays, but you know what? It's not even a real smartphone. It's a track phone. It's a track phone smartphone. I have prepaid cards. I still do the whole prepaid card thing. You know why? Because I don't have that many people to talk to. I don't download apps. I'm not on apps all day. I'm living a life. Outside of technology, there's this thing called the planet Earth, and we're all out there doing things. That's what I do. I'm not stuck behind technology. Am I stuck behind technology a lot? Hell yeah, I'm stuck behind technology a lot, because that's because I've taken it upon myself to make that my job. But I never let myself become trapped by it. I always remember that there's a whole wide world out there to experience. It's what's going to gain you life experience, world experience. It's going to make you understand what culture is. And this is what kids are losing touch with. They have no idea. They're not experiencing anything anymore. They're not gaining any culture anymore. They're just trapped. They're just trapped. And sometimes we need some, I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Voice all of your thoughts and opinions down below. Do you agree with this? Do you not agree with this? Do you think that we need restrictions? Or do you say, no way, no more government overreaching into our lives, I can handle this ourselves? What are your thoughts? Leave all your thoughts down below on this, because I'm really interested to know what you guys have to think about these specific notions that are taking place in the world right now. So, thank you guys for joining me for this vlog. It's time for me to get back to work like the working slave that I am. And I will see you guys probably this afternoon when I record my next video, or another vlog. I'll probably do another vlog today. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. Until then, take care, voice your opinions, and I'll see you later.